Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and this is how to use Audino. And for the stats, we're just going to look at Mega Audino as well as the typing. So Mega Audino has some really solid stats. I mean, 126 on the defenses and 103 on the hit points. This Pokemon is going to be a beast to try to take down, and also 80 on the special attack. So with the way that special attack does just a little bit of damage, but it also refuses to take a lot of damage, and then 50 speed means, this Pokemon's probably meant to be a Trick Room Pokemon, and it does also have a lot of really interesting things going for it. Now the main drawback to Audino in its Mega form is that it's going to be like stuck to a healer role, so we're going to find ways to play around that. Look at its typing, it's going to be a normal fairy typing. Normal fairy, very interesting typing. Regular Audino is just a normal type. So we already know normal type in and out. We don't have any super effective hits, but we're also going to be weak against just fighting, and we are going to be resistant to nothing but have that immunity to ghost. With the normal fairy, it's a bit different. We are still weak against poison and steel, but fairy does take away our fighting weakness, and we do gain that dragon immunity and the bug dark resistances. So it's a little interesting that we do gain quite a bit from it, but we also have that poison steel weakness to worry about right now, and that is going to be it for the typing. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, to use Mega Audino is going to be like using a Clefable somewhat in some ways. So the first thing I thought was that, we just go for Calm Mind Mega Tank, and Clefable does really well at that. Max out the hit points, you max out the defenses, Bold Nature means that we're dropping the attack, not our special attack, and then we just go to town on the opponent. We don't take too much physical damage, and we also do pretty well on a special side because we're going to be boosting into it. Now Clefable does have a really good advantage. It can run the Magic Guard ability. That means it can't get toxic. It doesn't have to worry about switching around with Stealth Rocks up. It doesn't have to worry about anything that breaks stall because, okay, it just comes in, it sets up, and then it wins. It also has the Unaware ability. So if your opponent's doing a lot of stat boosting, you can use Clefable as an anti-stat boost Pokemon, and that can be very powerful as well. Mega Audino doesn't have that. Has Healer. Mega Audino doesn't do anything outside of double battles for its ability, so pretty much consider it like a huge stat bulky Pokemon because it doesn't have an ability and it doesn't get an item. Clefable, it can have leftovers, but when we compare the stats, defenses are much lower and we even have less hit points. So if Audino doesn't have to get in a situation where it needs that Unaware, where it needs that Magic Guard, it's going to be a better Pokemon, at least to a degree. Like if Clefable's on the field for like 8 turns and gets a ton of leftovers, then that's where it starts to outpace, but overall our setup is going to be very consistent. Now our main problem is that we have Wish. We don't get Recover, we don't get Moonlight, we don't get anything fun like that. We do have to be very thoughtful of our healing, so if we feel that the opponent might do some damage, Calm Mind into the Wish, into another Calm Mind, then we get our health back, but Audino has something that Clefable doesn't, Draining Kiss. Now Clefable doesn't get it, but Audino does, so if you get +2 on that Calm Mind, Draining Kiss now starts healing you, and it makes up for the leftovers. It's also going to be nice stab fairy damage. Draining Kiss is also neat because it recovers 75% of the damage dealt, when most other draining moves do around healed for 50%. So we can make use of this, and we also get Flamethrower. Steel-type Pokemon are a problem for Fairy-type Pokemon, but then you just have Flamethrower. Like, you go up against a Ferrothorn, if a Ferrothorn tries to come in to respond to you, you just Flamethrower it. +2 Calm Mind on that Flamethrower is going to be really powerful, so at least we do have things going for us, but it is about the Wish play. You have to be perfect on it, or else you're going to get knocked out for free, and then you don't get your setup. But if you can get 2 or 3 Calm Minds in the Mega Audino, it becomes a monstrous threat to have to take out because of those huge defenses. I mean, we're going to have 386 defense and 410 on the hit points. That's absurd. Whereas Clefable, not as insane, but still pretty solid. So there are give and takes, so if you want to use your Mega Slot for this, you can, and then there's also just double battles. So Mega Audino pretty much does the same thing as any of these Audino I'm going to show, but there is some give and take as well. So you want to run Audino in doubles as a Trick Room Pokemon, and Audino is going to be a super amazing Trick Room Pokemon as well, that with its tankiness, we max out the hit points, put some defense investment, we can also go a little bit in special defense, or we just go full defense. Doesn't really matter what you do as long as your stats are going to be pretty balanced, and then we just set up that Trick Room. Mental Herb means that we're going to be able to really get that Trick Room off, and if we support it with a Fake Out Pokemon or a Pokemon with Quick Guard, Trick Room is pretty much guaranteed. Then we also just have super support from here. So now this is where you also get into some interesting positions with Audino, that you can run it regular like this, and then have the Mental Herb, and then go for some setup, or you can go Mega, and then just be harder to take out, have a little bit more power behind you, and then you can also choose between 4 status moves or a bit of setup. They can run Trick Room, Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, and then either Protect or some other supportive move right there, or you just go full support. That if you have a powerful Pokemon like a Mega Mawile or something that hits incredibly hard but needs that Trick Room, then you can just work it out like this. Heal Pulse. You'll be able to heal them for half of their hit points. Encore. You'll be able to lock down one of your opponent's setup Pokemon. We also get access to something like Safeguard. So Safeguard does kind of work. It is interesting. We do have the healer ability, 30% chance of curing status, but if you don't want to worry about that, we also have the Safeguard. And if we are running regular Audino, we can go with that Regenerator ability if we are already running Safeguard. So that's just some of the other options that you have. Like I said, Encore, we do have Reflect and Light Screen, so if you want to play that really defensive game, you set up Trick Room, and then you get a Reflect up really quick, so that's even harder to knock out your Pokemon, and you even have access to Yawn. Yawn is a very, very powerful move if used correctly. That you see their opponent, you use Yawn on it, and then they either have to switch out, or their Pokemon falls asleep for free. So if you have Audino creating these high pressure situations, okay, Mega Mawile, it sets up a Swords Dance or just scores an outright KO on one Pokemon, the other Pokemon gets yawned, now your opponent is at a severe disadvantage and they just have to play through that Trick Room. So that is something that they will have to deal with. And again, like I said, you can just go for like the Calm Mind into Draining Kiss, and that will still give a lot of sustain in the Trick Room as well. So that's going to be most of Audino right there. Dazzling Gleam hits both opponents in doubles, but again, we're not like this super high pressure special attack Pokemon. I'd rather boost into it with the Calm Mind. We do get access to Ice Beam, which is also really nice. So if we need Dragon Killing, Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Ice Beam, if we want a 4 kind of move thing. So let's just go set that one up. We'll have Calm Mind here, and then we have Draining Kiss. And then that means we're just going to be able to become like a Trick Room sweeper that also has high damage support next to us, or maybe another Pokemon. If we have like Prankster, something else supporting us, we could get pretty insane off of this. And then that means we're going to want more defensive investment. So we go +1 or +2 on that Calm Mind. Now we don't have to worry about Mega Salamence as much. We're just able to do so much damage to so many things. That's going to be very powerful as well. And then we also get access to Simple Beam. So if you have some kind of simple strategy, you know, you Simple Beam Amok in Trick Room and then it uses Minimize, yeah, that's where it's at right there. If you're heal pulsing a Pokemon that's under simple using like Minimize or Swords Dance or Calm Mind or any kind of just filthy boosting, it's going to be able to make very good use of that. So Simple Beam, going to be a very powerful strategy as well. You also have access to Gravity, so if you want like Gravity Hypnosis or Gravity into a low accuracy move or Earthquake or something like that, you got it. You can do all sorts of things with Audino, so it's like this super dedicated support Pokemon, going to shine the most in doubles through sheer diversity and just a lot of things that it can do for support, but in singles, it can be like a mixed kind of Clefable, like it can be better or worse in some situations. So that is how we're going to be playing. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's how you use Audino and Mega Audino, and I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you for watching.